If you bought XRP in November of 2020 and held currently, you'd be down over 20% right now with an average open price of around 72.2 cents to where XRP is currently trading right around 56 cents. Now, if you bought Cardano, on the other hand, in the same exact time frame and you're currently still sitting on it, you'd be up a 4x from now. So Cardano back in 2020 in the same around the same time was around 10 cents, currently sitting at 46 cents. So about a 4.6x, up around 410%. Do not make the same mistake again. Sell your XRP for Cardano before it is too late. XRP is still a top project in crypto. They could potentially make you money, or at the very least, bring you back to even. But the value upside lies unequivocally in Cardano. Let me explain to you why. Let's talk about market position and potential, right? The important thing is, hey, what is this blockchain looking to solve? What is the utility of the coin? And hey, is it worth holding on to, investing the money in? Let's take a look at the potential. Let's start with XRP. So XRP had an all-time high market cap of around, let's call it $150 billion, and is currently sitting at a $30.87 billion market cap, which is around a 5x to get back to where it was at an all-time high. If we take a look at Cardano, we're sitting at a $16 billion market cap, and let's call it a $100 billion all-time market cap. So this is more than a 6x away from its last all-time high, right? Let's talk about market competition. So XRP is competing in a market that is dominated by banks and large payment systems. Going up against the banks is kind of like going up against the government. It is very difficult to compete with. The benefit of a bank and platform using a centrally controlled digital asset to move money versus just creating and leveraging their own system might not be there for the use case of XRP moving forward. Now we take a look. I did mention centrally controlled, and I'm sure we'll get a lot of people in the comment section talking about, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Let me explain to you exactly what I am talking about. This is from coincarp.com, and we take a look at the rich list, the 100 richest XRP wallets, and well, who holds them? As you can see here, numbers 1 through 9 are XRP with a total cumulative held token percentage of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. We'll call this 39, 40%. 40%. And they have a couple more here at 1.43%. And so XRP is a centrally controlled digital asset by Ripple. And we'll explain to you why that is not a good thing and what Ripple is doing to kind of essentially suppress the price of XRP. That is one of the main theses behind why you should sell it now and move into something like ADA. Now let's take a look at, well, XRP is looking to upend the banks and what they're doing, right? Kind of like going up against government. Well, what is Cardano looking to do? Just a little bit on a different scale, right? We know XRP has their XRP ledger. They have XRPL tokens. But Cardano has really cemented itself as one of the best decentralized layer one blockchains in the space. Some of the things they're looking to do, this is from the Cardano Foundation medium, tokenization in the real world, 3 industries that can be transformed by blockchain. The first thing they list is traditional finance, more specifically decentralized finance or DeFi, talking about lending protocols and how people, their APY with their banks are less than 0.25% versus going into an ecosystem like Cardano, leveraging their stablecoin, leveraging the ADA token, leveraging DeFi, and be able to get 3, 4, 5, 6% interest. So that is one thing they're looking to do. The other thing in this Medium article is real estate. To help smaller investors pool their resources, properly crowdfunding and joint venture investment schemes exist, but they are fraught with their own pain points. For example, selling a partial stake in a jointly owned property would involve finding a buyer for your portion, selling the entire property, or having your equity bought out by other investors. So that is one other area they're looking to solve. And the last one here that they list in this article is medical and pharmaceutical, talking about how the pharmaceutical industry, and more specifically medical and medical records, is fraught with dishonesty and people taking other people's information and doing with that as they please, giving that information, the power of your own identity online, back to you. So those are just some of the things that Cardano is doing. So are you going to bet on a token that is looking to fight directly against the banks? Are you going to go with a token that is looking to revolutionize an area that really hasn't seen any movement yet with a new technology? Now let's talk about price movement and use cases. Are you ready to transform your journey of personal development into an adventure? Meet Legacy Network, where self-improvement meets the thrill of gaming. Unlock levels, earn rewards, and grow every single day. The Legacy Network, dive into a world where your growth earns you more than just skills. It's fun, engaging, and yes, profitable. Be among the first to embark on this journey. Join the Legacy Network Discord by using the link in the description to get access to the Legacy Academy app first once it goes live. I want to share a video from the XRP Las Vegas convention of CTO David Schwartz talking about their new stablecoin. And of course, this is one of the use cases. People are like, hey, they're getting their own stablecoin. Well, is it really going to affect the price of XRP in a positive way? Let's listen to what David Schwartz had to say.
Would I love for everybody to use XRP for every payment? That would be wonderful. But if I tell you if you don't use XRP for every payment, there's nothing for you here, nobody would be in this group would be completely empty.
So what is he really saying here? He's really saying, hey, we know that in our space, some people are not going to want to use a digital asset. They're going to want to use a stablecoin. And the whole thesis for XRP is for it to be a leverage for cross-border payments. There is absolutely a concern still from a regulatory standpoint. And we know governments are working on stablecoin adoption and their own CBDCs. This puts the landscape at odds with the value proposition of the XRP token. Now, of course, Ripple's goal is to keep the price of XRP stable through the release of around 1 billion tokens, or $500 million more at the current prices, every single month. Now ask yourself this question. Do you want to hold a token if you're looking for upside? If you're looking to make money, do you want to hold a token where the foundation or the company behind it is strategically trying to keep the price of the token stable? To me, the answer is obvious. It is no. From this article from dailycoin.com, Ripple releases 1 billion XRP as part of their distribution strategy. You see here in this article, they've been releasing XRP from its escrow account in a controlled manner to ensure supply predictability and stability. Key, stability for the XRP token. Volatility is what everyone likes when you're looking to make money. Without any volatility, it's really hard to make money. Look at something like gold. You made what, 10% in the last 10 years? No one's going to want that. If I told you, hey, you're going to hold a coin from now and then 10 years from now, you'll make 10%. Are you going to want to hold on to that coin? Probably not. And then when is it going to end? So this is from coinpedia.org. Ripple reveals escrow strategy for XRP. So they're planning to release the 1 billion tokens every month for the next 42 months, potentially finishing by early 2027. Now, I want to note here, the action may very well be necessary for what Ripple is looking to accomplish, but from an investment perspective, from a money-making perspective, this is not good for holders. Imagine you're trading baseball cards with your friends, right? Let's say your friend has a rare and superstar player card. The value of that card goes up because it's rare and highly sought after. However, imagine if your friend decides to keep making copies and flooding the market with them every single month. Suddenly, there are tons of copies of the same card available. As a result, the value of each individual card decreases because, well, everyone can get a hold of it, driving the value of the token down. Kind of same idea. You're flooding the market with more tokens, and so the sell pressure continues, and you need to really get a lot of demand in, and I don't know if demand's going to come in the way a lot of people think it is for XRP. So just something interesting. Also, I want to show, well, okay, fine. Are people using XRP? And when people are using XRP, what kind of direct effect does that have on the token? Let's take a look at XRP. You know what? First, take a look at Solana. Let's take a look at Solana. So this is Solana transactions. This is from the solscan.io. And we're just going to pick this area here, right? This is February 2nd of this year to February 10th of this year. It saw transactions go up from 161 million up to 260 million. So a nice tick up in transactions. Well, how did the price of Solana react? Okay, right. So we would think, hey, okay, transactions go up. People got to buy the coins. All right, price goes up. Let's see what Solana did. So between these two vertical bars, you have that time zone, right? And Solana went up around 15%, okay? Let's take a look at Cardano. Well, Cardano, we picked this area here from around November of 2023 going to December 4th of the same time frame. And again, I have this vertical line here, this little area of that time frame. Now, what did the price of Cardano do when the transactions jumped? The price of Cardano went up around 13%. Let's take a look at what XRP did. So, a number of transactions executed. This is from the xrpscan.com. You can see here this massive move that happened on December 28th, leading into January 2nd, January 3rd, where we saw the transactions go from around 1.5 million to almost 7 million transactions. So pretty much a 5x in transactions. Well, what did the price of XRP do? It actually went down. So from open to close, it went down 8.5%. And so even if people start using XRP, right? Taking a look at what it has done, taking a look at this use case, right? Taking a look at just this one segment of the market when XRP transactions went up, and what did the price do? Even if they start to onboard users with the escrow unlocking, with obviously the transactions having no impact on the price movement, is this something that you really want to do? That's a question you got to ask yourself. The next one, very, very important, is regulatory landscape, right? So obviously, you know, the SEC sued XRP back in 2020. They've been in a lawsuit. I want to give a big shout out to the Ripple team for fighting the SEC. I think is doing a great service to the entirety of the crypto space. And this video is not meant to say that XRP is not a good project or that it doesn't serve a purpose. It's from a specific standpoint of, hey, what will bring you the most amount of returns in the next bull market? Is it XRP or Cardano? I'm making the case for Cardano here. So the current lawsuit has really negated the lead that XRP had on the payments market going back to when it was first came into the market back in 2013, going into 2020, and then of course the lawsuit happened. More solutions that directly compete with XRP's utility have been created and taken market share since then. Layer ones like Solana have come into the spotlight. We know Visa is looking to leverage layer ones like Solana for stablecoin and cross-border payments. Chainlink made a splash with CCIP and their partnership with Swift. Now, you got to remember, essentially, XRP is also a direct competitor to Swift, and this from the Cointelegraph website. Swift partners with Chainlink for a cross-chain crypto transfer project. And so would this have looked different if there was no lawsuit holding XRP back, holding the adoption of XRP here in the US, the largest capital markets in the world? If that wasn't there, would XRP be in a different position? Would they really have a massive lead in the space they're in? Potentially, but what we know is that is currently not the case yet. Then let's take a look at developments and upgrades, right? So let's take a look at what Ripple has going for it. So Ripple, one of the big things here that got a lot of people bullish is they're issuing a USDC pegged and backed stablecoin, bringing more utility and liquidity to the XRP ledger. This is from the Ripple.com website. Pegged 1-to-1 to the US dollar, Ripple stablecoin will be 100% backed by US dollar deposits, short-term US government treasuries, and other cash equivalents. Now, why am I saying this? Because it's not really going to have any effect on the XRP token, right? The XRP token isn't going to benefit from having a stablecoin. So although it is great, it's going to make Ripple a lot of money, but is it going to make you, the XRP holder, a lot of money? Not really. The other big one here is their partnership with XLR to bring interoperability to the XRP Ledger blockchain. Ripple and XLR Foundation have joined forces to enhance interoperability on the XRPL blockchain, aiming to propel the next phase of real-world asset tokenization. Now, benefit here is obviously potential for more users and transactions, but as I previously showed you, these things don't necessarily have a direct positive impact on the XRP token. Now let's take a look at what Cardano is doing. So the couple big things here. The first one is Marlowe. A lot of people say, hey, look, Cardano is extremely hard to code on, right? They use the Haskell software programming language. Not a lot of developers know it. It's kind of obscure, but it's got its benefits, but it's got its drawbacks too. Well, Marlowe is looking to change that. This is from the marlowe.iohk docs website. Marlowe is a pioneering ecosystem within the Cardano blockchain designed to cater to both seasoned developers and those with limited coding experience. It simplifies the process of writing complex, secure, and verifiable smart contracts tailored for financial applications. The Marlowe Playground is a key component of the ecosystem, providing an intuitive web interface where users can write, simulate, and test their smart contracts without writing a single line of code by using the drag and drop coding tool known as Blockly. The other one here is Voltaire, the final era of the Cardano roadmap. Now, why is this important? They're essentially going to hand the keys to the car to the community, and the car being the Cardano blockchain. So the Voltaire era of Cardano will provide the final pieces required for the Cardano network to become a self-sustaining system. It'll unlock the voting and treasury system, where network participants will be able to use their stake and voting rights to influence the future development of the network. So we're talking about around $1 billion will now be unlocked and handed over to the community and say, hey, whatever you think is going to push Cardano forward, is going to make Cardano successful, vote on it. Put in a proposal. Let's get this thing done. The community can choose to spend treasury money on solutions to increase usage, to increase onboarding, marketing, etc., all of which could have a positive impact on the price. I don't need to state the obvious here, but there's obviously a financial incentive for ADA holders to be active and vote in these proposals that could potentially positively impact the price of the ADA token positively. So, is XRP a bad project? No. But is it going to bring you the most gains? Is it going to bring you more money, more X's than Cardano at a 6X away from its all-time high? No regulatory concerns, seeing that the price reacts positively to transactions, to users. My bet is going to be on Cardano. Don't be left round-tripping another bag of XRP when you can make a lot of money with projects like Cardano. Let us know what you think in the comment section. And come check out our live show Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you in the next one.